morning, everybody. It's time to get up, 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 up.
The most about campus when I did these inspections in the morning.
And what did you find?
Oh my God, the kids just waited and waited, and it was such a big deal, and all they were doing was cleaning the cabin, but it meant so much to them. There were so many memories like that
and then they got graded, didn't they?
Right. You were dying to get 100, but you only could get a 99.99.
And it was announced in the mess hall at lunchtime, and it was just one of a multitude of memories that we have.
And you know,
place.
in the canteen, we used to sneak a look at the cards that went out, and we would get
No, you wouldn't do that.
We would get an idea of how the kid was enjoying camp. So we really felt that it was a worthwhile sneak.
Well, I used to remember going to the canteen to get a bottle of pop. That was a major ordeal just for delivering laundry. And how about those Macy Kinder games, Bob? Do you still play baseball?
Oh, I still try and stay active, and I love that stuff. But, well, you know, we could keep talking about this for hours, but you know what I'd really like to do? I'd love to see these tapes. So is it possible we could get into these tapes and see them now?
Our special memories of camp and our camp friends.
This is what it's all about. Okay, we are in business now. Oh my gosh. Can you believe these old shots? Can you pick out some of these folks?
Aren't they? Look how nice the water looks. Look at that.
That was a rare occasion. Now, this is in the field house.
There's Patty's sofa in the corner.
Good. Good.
We're doing some of our spectacular activities. This was a very popular camp, the trampoline.
That looks like Robbie Moll. It is.
In fact, that's who it is.
I think he was teaching it,
I think you're right, Charlie.
You're right. I think he was. Doing it back to the lake.
Look at that.
Where everybody wore the famous Mae West.
There's Carol Frank in the front and Nancy Rom.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Janice is very
Susie
good with
Brigade.
See that? That's great.
You may only hear names from Janice today.
Right.
This is a challenge to these memories. This looks like it's up on the...
Debbie Gottlieb, Susie Schwitzman,
around
Sherry Rosenfeld.
There's Sherry, right.
Sherry.
I finally recognized one. Okay. They're up. These are the older kids, I imagine, at that time.
I think these were Rangerettes that year.
Yeah.
And the fountain.
The fountain was everybody's. There's Janie Gollum. I found somebody.
Debbie Resnick.
Yes.
And
Linda
Safier.
The films, the quality is beautiful.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, Michael did a great job getting these films back.
Isn't that Peppy Linder?
Yeah.
I think it is. Yes, it was. I think it was anyway. That's
a Hoffman. No, who is that?
That's a good picture.
Whoever.
There's Fran Pasikoff.
Yes.
These girls came from somewhere where it was
Nancy
wet.
Rosenfeld. It looks like a creek hike, maybe.
Yeah.
Betty Levine.
That's right.
That's a
There's Franny Pasikoff, yeah. And that's the...
Kessler, isn't it?
Yes,
No?
little Susie Kessler from McKeesport.
And she's married to Richard Mermelstein.
Is that right? Oh, my goodness. I was just back in McKeesport, and there wasn't much there.
Kathy Kramer.
Kathy Kramer. There she is.
These were seniors, I think, this year.
Oh, my gosh, Janice. How can you remember that?
Aren't they wonderful pictures?
It's not even possible to remember.
Debbie Levy, Mary Lou Parker, Kathy Abrams.
Famous game.
There's Richard Rosenzweig.
Table football.
No, that's not Richard.
Is this in the mess hall or outside? It must be. Where would this be?
There's Jerry. Isn't that Jerry?
Playing table football?
Yeah.
That could be Jerry Gross. I'm not sure. You know, it's
David Lippa.
It's a shame that I recognize the face and it takes me 5 minutes to come up with a name.
Isn't that Susie Platt?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it was.
Now Kalson.
Right.
There's Larry Moll was just up there perusing the game.
And Sabu.
Jack's.
The famous Jack's game.
And we're getting the back of some heads now. That really loses me there. There's a familiar face.
Yes, and the Ricky Rogo.
We were dressed
There's
up.
Donnie Rosenshine.
This looks like getting ready for-
Craig Rothman and oh, this is terrible. Michael Aronson.
Yeah, and
That's the Apter girl.
Elizabeth Apter.
Right.
Gail Soblowski was in there.
And those are Gottliebs. There's a Gottlieb. And
Now there's something I know. The sleeping bags are airing out from
there's
overnight.
Rick Dickey Hurwitz. And
There's
Robbie.
Robbie Moll.
Who is that?
These people look like they're getting ready for the final banquet, don't they?
They're all dressed up.
Yeah, that's right. That's why the sleeping bags are out.
Right.
Airing them out to get them ready to take home.
That was Saul Lockhart that just passed.
That's right. That's right.
There's the arts and crafts shop.
Uh-huh.
The flagpole. Alfie.
There's Alfie. That's David Levine.
That's good. There's the Marlene Service.
Not Marlene.
Janie.
It was
Janie
Janie.
Service. Janie
Yeah.
Service.
There's Pepe Linder.
Brenda Zweibel.
Yeah. Oh, was that Brenda? She's my special friend. There's Marcia Skye.
Marcia Skye is correct. That's who that was.
You know, she's married to a rabbi in
Alan
Chicago.
Bregman.
Yeah,
Alan Bregman.
Right. I think they met at camp.
There are the Kalsons.
Jeanette and Nene, Harry, Dorothy,
Well, we finally
Sam and
we hit
Mom.
people I know. Thank goodness. There's a young Art Hurwitz. He's still young.
There's Tommy Martin.
Tommy
and
Martin.
MG.
and MG.
Joel Siegel. Judy.
And Judy
Finkelstein.
Finkelstein. And Barbara Pittler was next to Judy. I'm thrilled when I get one. This
Ellen Newman.
Oh, my
Jeannie
goodness.
and Danny Siegel.
Yeah, right. I don't.
That was Colker, Jackie Colker.
There's a. I saw Lisa. There's Lisa Fisher.
That's Lisa
Yeah,
Fisher
uh-huh.
is right. I hope nobody's offended if somebody shows up and we don't mention their name.
No, well, we can't.
Remember everyone.
Charlotte is looking hard. Janice knows a lot of them, and Bob is dead in the water right now.
No,
He is
he's
struggling.
not. No, he isn't.
Is that Sandy Adderson? I think it
Yes,
is.
yes,
and
it
Karen,
was.
Karen Ross?
Well, if you say who
But
they are,
don't
I'll
they
agree
look-
with you on a lot of
Okay.
them or disagree.
Don't they look nice?
I can't get over how beautiful
There's
the
Candy
films are.
Sack. Isn't that her sister?
Yeah.
Next to her?
Right. I think.
Berman. That's a Bruce Berman. Is that correct? A Bruce Berman?
There's Sheila Goldman.
This was a final banquet, obviously.
Right, and there's Susie Platt.
There's Stevie Epstein in the back.
Rosie Solo, Sherry Broad.
There's Tommy Kalson,
think
isn't it?
that-
Wasn't that Tommy
I
Kalson?
didn't-
Looks like
notice
him, I
that.
think. Kathy Kramer.
Kathy Kramer.
Steve
Let's see.
Epstein.
There's Stevie
Yes.
Epstein
Epper.
again.
And that's Elliot Hurwitz next to him, I think.
It might be right.
Buddy
He's
Clem?
busy eating Buddy Clem.
Buddy Clem.
There's Dickie.
And Andy Gottlieb.
Andy
Uh-huh.
Gottlieb.
Dickie and Andy Gottlieb. Romance of the ages.
Linda Berkey.
Yeah, Linda Berkey.
Janie Applebaum, Patty
yeah.
Sofer. That's
There's
Denise
Pepe.
Rosenfeld, isn't it?
Yes. yes.
Lynn Obenauer.
Look at the glasses. Were they
Were they for real glasses
They
in
were
those
the
days?
in
That was
thing.
the in thing. You're right, Charlotte. I remember
There's
that.
Now, there's Jerry Gross and Jay
And
Schwartz
there's
from
Jay
Philadelphia, and
Schwartz,
Steve
yeah.
Katz from Philadelphia.
Right.
Ellen
And
Sue
I don't know
Bernstein
that
and
guy.
Bob Gross.
Bob, do you
Well,
see
I was
Jay?
there. I haven't seen Jay
You
in
haven't
quite a
changed
while.
a bit.
There's Rico Goldman
Right.
and
Jeff Feldman.
Jeffrey Feldman.
there's a, I thought that's one of the Steiners.
Carol or
Lois?
Lois? Steiner?
That
think
was
Lois.
Lois,
Uh-huh.
yeah. These are great.
It's really amazing how many people we've picked out, I think.
Uh-huh. There's Tut,
Jason Sherinsky.
right.
I
That's right.
There's something about nicknames. You never lose them once you get them at
that's
camp.
right.
Isn't that true?
That's right.
there is Erwin
Singer, right.
Is that
Todd.
Dave?
That's Tut there, Jason Sherinsky.
That's Karen Egger,
Karen Ager.
right. Oh, there's
Marcia Bondi, I think that was.
No. I'm trying to.
We're rolling through this banquet rather rapidly.
That
But
was
you're getting-
Braver and Harvey Samrick, and that's Debbie Braver.
There's Peppy.
Peppy Linda, right?
And that looked like Mike Wald next to her.
Brenda Zweibel.
There's Dee Dee Sky
Yeah.
was to the left there. Davita Sky.
Yeah, there's Brenda.
Lynn Unger.
Aren't they something? Look at the boys.
There's
on-
Morbid.
There's
Barbara
Redlick,
Moll.
Maxie Redlick. There's Harvey Gollum.
Harvey Gollum.
Now let's see, there's Sheila. Larry Moll.
Larry Moll.
Is that Janet Hurwitz?
I didn't. I'd love to.
It's tough to make them
One
go
was
slower.
Howie Fearman there.
You need time to think after
Yeah.
you see the face. And frankly, if I were the only one looking at
There's
this,
Mary Hurwitz,
this would still be a silent film.
and there's
There's Robbie Moll.
And Betty Levine.
That's Marlene. I don't know if they.
That was Freddie Fields. I
Was
think.
it?
I think it was Freddie Fields. Michael will have to corroborate that.
Wiggy Friedman.
Yeah,
and
right.
Ralph Eggerman.
Right.
Is that one of the Malvins? Is that Chucky Gordon?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yes, it
Yes, it
is.
is.
And Scott Gross. That's Gail Soblowski.
There's Linda Berkey. Is that Janie?
There's Dickie again.
Berkey. And Andy.
Andrea Gottlieb.
Right. There's Tommy and David. Howie Fearman. And there's Kalson. What's his name? Howard.
Kalson.
Howard.
Howard Kalson.
That's Stu Hoffman.
There's Kaufman.
Jeffrey Kaufman?
Right.
What we really need is about 25 people to be observing and popping names up here.
Right, aren't they great there? Look how nice everybody looks.
There's Stevie Soblowski again.
Right, uh-huh.
And Ellen Sue Bernstein.
And Arlene Bernstein.
And Arlene.
It's amazing how much you didn't like your sister or brother, but you ended up sitting with them at the final banquet.
You were forced to.
Well, I think we've just finished the banquet scene, and we're going back into some camp scenery. Oh, I snuck in there again.
There you are with your short shorts.
Yeah, I lived in those.
Those
Wasn't
were the olden
Stevie
days.
Epstein there?
Trying to figure out exactly where this
The
is.
stables.
This is
Well, now
the
we're at the
stables.
stables.
The 1961 horse show.
And I think Barbara, there's Barbara
There's-
making the awards.
Barbara Moll Grossman is making the awards for the
Right.
1961
Horse
equestrian show
Right.
at Camp Lynnwood. This was one of the most popular activities at camp.
All the riders wore white shirts and
Yeah.
khaki pants.
This was big time stuff,
Look
first rate.
Ronna Greenberg is there.
Isn't that Epstein?
Yeah,
I think
Stevie
you're right,
Epstein again.
Charolette.
There's Denise Rosenfeld again.
And Linda Berkey.
Oh, it looks like they might be digging up the scroll.
That's what they're doing.
When did we do that, Bob? Every 5 years?
5 years.
Was it every five?
5 years.
And you know that the last scroll is still in the ground, never to be dug up.
Oh,
For
those were the good old
posterity.
days.
There's Bob Gross.
You don't really believe I was ever that thin. And I wasn't thin?
You were never a little boy, even when you were a youngster.
I guess not, and I've kept up that image.
That's right. There's Artie.
Because everyone has signed the scroll, and now we're digging this one
I
up or
think
burying
they're
it.
reading the old one now.
Okay.
And then we had everybody in camp sign the next one, and it got buried. I just don't recall the 5 years. I guess it was every 5 years.
Every 5, yeah.
Uh-huh. And it was always 7 steps down from the corner of the flagpole and something like 3 or 4 steps to the right, forming an L.
But it was Henry Campbell's feet that they measured by.
Oh,
Right.
There we are on Camp Street.
Most of these cabins are still standing
Look at that.
and look very similar to what they did then. These were important days to many, many people.
And there's the John behind the cabin.
Mm-hmm. There's Robbie.
Relaxing in your bunk.
I think that's Saul Lockhart.
And there are those famous cubbies. You had to cram 2 months' worth of clothes in 3 feet.
Howie Fearman. I must tell his dad.
Little basketball action in the field house. Field house is still alive and well.
The field house was used for other things beside basketball, wasn't it, Bob?
just,
Movies.
everything we could, including rainy days.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we do roller skating in that field house?
Oh yeah,
The rifle range.
very popular activity.
Right.
Ready on the left, ready on the right, all ready on the firing line. Lock and load, fire when
That's
ready.
a good picture. That's a Fierce, isn't that?
That's where we
Alan?
hid Harvey Gollum for many years.
Yeah.
Some of the kids became very, very good shots down there, and they achieved some high awards with the NRA.
Many camps don't do riflery anymore. It's a skill that
It's not the.
Not a popular skill anymore.
volleyball.
Isn't that at one of the Sabus?
That's Robbie Moll for sure. Always spot Robbie.
Looks like the Rangers playing.
Uh-huh.
This could have been a color war game. It's possible.
I didn't realize the boys played soccer at camp.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be Sandy Green, was it? Right there in the bathing suit?
Could be.
She was pretty much into soccer with the kids. This must have been a little clinic basketball.
Yeah,
We did a little teaching here. And you can see our modern chain link
that.
nets.
Wasn't that Denise?
They could get it
Could be
in.
league teams. It looks like a mixture of age groups. Remember, we used to mix up a couple of the different divisions to form a league, and
Yeah, at
they all
one
had their own names. And then we would announce in the mess hall the winner and the losers and what the score was.
This was a big time Newcomb ball game going on here. Just catch it and fire it back. We haven't given up on the names, folks. We're still
No,
we're still looking and trying.
You know, they're so outstanding. I mean, you want to.
There you are, Charlotte and Dorothy.
Oh, we're at the infirmary. I think that was one of the most popular activities.
That's
Anything
Sandy
to get,
Sajay,
there we are.
counselor.
Right.
I got one.
Well, I think people just used to come just to...
I think to get out of the
Clean up?
clean up. That's right.
That was a didn't we?
An activity.
We did something prior to Visitors Day by checking all the kids. An exciting part of camp.
There's
One
a snake.
I could have done without.
Nature study.
Nature study with.
You
See if we
remember?
could spot the nature director at that time.
Look at Pepe's all over.
Oh, you know what
There's
this
an
was?
after.
This was a famous berry hike. That was.
They ate more than
Was
they
that Sally
brought back.
Rosenfeld or was that a younger Rosenfeld? Wasn't there a younger
Nancy.
Nancy Rosenfeld? That's who we just passed her up. And Elizabeth Apter again, right there, I
Well,
believe.
with her hair, it's outstanding.
There's the, is it? Arts and Crafts, Vera
should see
Hurwitz's domain.
And everyone got to take home a wonderful craft project at
I
the end
still
of the summer.
I still have Judy's soup ladle, you know, spoon holder.
Or the ceramic
In
trivets.
59.
And everybody made a
Look
lanyard.
at them, aren't they cute? Oh.
Phil Feldman.
Wasn't that Mark Dash that we passed?
There's Vera.
There's Vera Hurwitz now.
There's Jack Malvin.
Now, who is?
Isn't that Debbie Resnick?
No.
No?
Well, I'll go along with it.
What are we practicing? How to put up a tent? Maybe to get ready for Mariners?
Preparation for a Mariners, that's right.
Look at that.
That was something that you had to work your way up to be an older camper to do. To go on those for what, 2 days and 2 nights and 3 days, and
Up at the end of the Cheat River. Bob and Artie loved them, especially when it rained, and we had to go out at 3 in the morning to
Yeah,
get them.
right.
are they making shams? Look at that.
This was a famous
There's
activity.
Marvin Dash.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
This was the old flower in the
Oh, yeah.
Kleenex. The big time sham battle.
That was an all-day activity, making
Oh
the
yes,
shams.
that's right.
And it was an all-day activity breaking them.
That's right.
And another day cleaning them up.
Remember when we had to police the grounds? I guess that
Yeah.
did a lot of policing.
That was the post-game festivities for the sham battle. Now, this is the battlegrounds, and they are. You'll probably see a few shots fired here. There they go. There's one group attacking the other. If you got hit with one, you were out. At least out for a while. Not too long.
There's David.
David Hurwitz.
And Larry.
Larry Moll.
I think that's Dickie Hurwitz,
It
isn't
looks, it's hard to tell. At one point, they looked alike.
And they're heading up for an overnight. The boats are loaded. That's probably a Mariners.
This,
Oh, gee.
are we back at the stables
Back
now?
to the
Yeah.
stables. Back to the stables. We haven't
These
seen
are
any. There's
great.
Tommy Kalson and
And,
David
and
Hurwitz.
David.
And
Debbie Gottlieb,
Uh-huh.
Marcia Bondi, Susie Miller, Karen Fisher, Judy Goldman,
And then
Ellen Sue Bernstein.
aren't they?
It would be great
Those
to
are
name
great
them all, but we can't. It just can't be done. We hope you're doing better
there's
than we
Barbara
are.
Weschler.
There's Vera.
How about
Artie,
another banquet?
Dorothy and Sam.
It looks like
Another successful season at Lynnwood.
coming to a close.
Gene Goldberg, MG, the archery instructor.
I'm busy chewing away. It's Sam and Aunt Hilda.
They actually wore a tie.
And,
Went to summer. Everybody always looks so different dressed up.
there's Jerry.
Jerry Gross. He will.
He'll love it.
Susie Katz. And is that Lexi Glantz next to her?
Yes, it was.
Ricky Berger.
Ricky
and Ellie
Berger.
Platt. There's Stu Hoffman and Rose K. Harris.
Rose K. Harris.
And that's Lori Obenauer.
Janice is on a roll, everybody. Mark Goldberg.
Right, and his
Right.
brother.
Richard.
It's amazing to me how everybody wanted to
isn't
sit with
it
their brother.
wonderful?
Judy and Johnny Shapiro.
Ooh.
Right.
Mimsy Layton and Joy Marks. This was my cabin. Where am
Oh.
I?
Well, then I think we should see Janice Weschler momentarily.
Paul Lovner should be right around here. Debbie Levy.
There's Debbie,
You mean you remember where you were sitting?
Well, I figured I must be with my bunk. Chucky
There's
Gordon.
Susie Gordon.
Susie and one of the Balfour girls.
There's
There's Helene
Helene.
Kalson.
Is that Susie
She was a
Foreman
big
back there?
camper then. And Tommy.
What do you think, Charlotte?
I don't know.
I think it
can't-
might be.
Was it?
Susie
There's
Miller
a-
and David Lippa.
Uh-huh.
Except Jeff Feldman. And Richie Balver.
Who's that?
There's Elaine Kessler in the corner.
Uh-huh.
I think that's Chucky Spiegel.
You're
And
right.
Herbie Mallet. And Linda Kramer. There I am!
There's
Next to Scott Gross. And I think that's James Gutman.
I
Judy
saw
Unger
him yesterday.
And Ricky, no.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it the Rosen boys?
Yep. That was Eddie Shapiro, I think.
I thought I saw Herbie
Yeah.
Samrick, but I'm not
yeah,
sure.
oh, I'm sure you did.
There's Mitchell Einzig and his wife, Corky Hartman.
No kidding.
He's a doctor up in Minnesota now somewhere.
There's Harvey. Harvey will
Steve
be
Epstein.
thrilled with these pictures.
And Joyce Kirshner. She's in New York, I believe.
Who's that?
Is that Butch Long?
There's
Butch
Todd-
Long.
He was the trampoline instructor, I think, that year.
Yes, that's right.
Candy Sack.
Linda Safier.
And Carol Elkin.
That's Howie's Weibel, wasn't it?
It might have been. I missed it.
And that was Jackie Colger. Is that Chuck Berlin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Steve
There's
Soblowski and his
Stevie.
sister,
Gail.
Gail. And there is Bobby Frank, better
Bobby
known as
Frank.
Morty A.
Yeah.
Claudia Bloom. And Debbie Braver and Jeff Braver. That's Herbie Samrick next
Oh, they're
to
passing the dessert.
There's Mark Dash and Marvin
Dash.
Dash.
Uh-huh.
And that looked like Vicky Mindy. And
There's
Brenda.
Dickie Hurwitz and
There's-
Brenda's Weibel.
There's David.
Dickie had his whole entourage of girlfriends as the pictures progress. You'll see everybody that you were tied up with at one
Shelley
time.
Post. And Kathy Abrams, Barbara Weschler,
Oh, look at Barbara. Oh,
and Patty Sofer, and Susie Schutzman. That's Denise Rosenfeld.
Denise.
And there's Sherry.
That's Craig Rothman with Sherry.
Rothman, yeah.
And that's the Bernstein.
Steve.
Stevie Bernstein.
Uh-huh.
What was his nickname? I'm trying to think.
Bloop.
There were many romances. Oh, look at that hairdo. Isn't that pretty?
Was that Janie Vulcan?
No, I don't
I'm not
think.
sure. Maybe that was before my time, or before these films.
That's a Schwartz, isn't it? You know, one of the brothers.
I think that was Susie Siegel. And there's Lois Steiner,
Yeah.
Karen Fisher, Jeannie Siegel.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly hope everybody
Howard Kalson.
everybody gets on these pictures and gets recognized.
There's Janie.
Janet Hurwitz, Ronna Greenberg. Bubbles. Kenny Sloan.
Wow. Janice is pulling names out of her hat here.
Isn't that Buddy Klemp?
Yes. Carol Wintner?
Yeah, could be.
And that's Jack Malvin. Big smile.
All right, the pressure's off, Gannon.
Now here they come.
Looks like we're going to instructional swim. Maybe
I
not.
think we're coming from
Maybe.
instructional
You're
swim.
right. You're-
And if it isn't, it is Janice Weschler's group. Janice Weschler Dash.
Wasn't that Jill Marcus that just passed
Yeah,
by?
yeah. Look at them. Oh, aren't they darling?
That looks like,
Were they pixies then? What were
no,
they?
those were probably
Softs,
chicks. There were no
chicks, softs.
pixies then. That was,
Pixies were the old age,
Right.
old days.
right. That was Pam Spatz back there. It was bothering me who that was.
Oh, they're off.
That's a cook-out group. That's
Now they'll pass the infirmary.
Take your grills. That was what, Kurt Rudick or?
Phil Rudick.
Phil Rudick, okay.
Okay. They got a name, in
yeah.
the first name anyway. This
This is a creek hike,
Oh.
most definitely.
Oh, and they're
something
filthy.
that
Look
made
at
all the
them.
parents thrilled.
Right. I think I'm in this group somewhere.
This was
Kathy
Kramer
yeah.
again.
Where is Kathy?
There's
Just-
Mimsy Layton and Paula, Judy Shapiro. They're right, no?
The object
I
was
think
just to
maybe
get
back
as
there.
filthy
As
as you
filthy
could.
as-
Right,
they
we did a good
could,
job,
right.
too.
Here are the
There's
tennis courts,
Jerry.
and that's
David
Joey.
Whipple?
Dr. Jerry Gross, veterinarian to the stars, now instructing in tennis. That was our famous tennis ball machine,
Ball boy.
the ball boy.
Kept you from running a lot.
That looked like Honey Schwartz. Could it be?
Could have been. There definitely was one.
What?
There was definitely a Honey Schwartz in the camp somewhere.
Now, what are they doing here?
I think they're cleaning off their satellite dish.
Do you think they could be getting ready for the carnival?
Could be.
It looks like it might well be. Yes, it is. It has to be.
Remember those days? They were a lot of fun.
A big Camp Street carnival.
Kathy's all over the place.
Well, she spent a lot of years at camp. And
Where
there's the
is-
tetherball.
Uh-huh. The famous tetherball.
There's Lisa Resnick and Debbie Gottlieb. Susie Brigad and Judy Goldman. Susie Sigel. This must be Girls Camp Street.
No sooner said than we're on Boys Camp Street.
Every cabin or two had a booth at this carnival.
Yeah.
And the exciting part was getting popcorn. Not Lynn Levinson. These are the little girls. There's Laura Nathan.
That was Susie Gordon.
Is that Jan Bloom? We're up at the archery range now.
I don't know, we should see MG.
MG will be in the picture.
Female William Tells.
This looks like an equestrian show.
There's David, Tommy.
Marveling at the quality of the films.
Isn't it
it's great
great?
that they were able to be brought back to life this way.
Uh-oh, here we go.
This was the show of shows.
Could this have been a visitor's day?
Very possibly.
These were the advanced riders, or we assume they were the advanced riders.
Oh, they're really...
Sway to the left, sway to the right, stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. Must be a color war.
Or a Macy Kinder game.
I don't think we got that excited
No,
over Macy
probably
Kinder games,
not.
Bob.
No.
That was sort of a struggle, actually, to get the kids up for that one, especially in the 5th and 6th week of camp. But it was counselors.
Right.
Looks like Jimmy Sofer.
That's a great picture there.
Well, this had to be a color war, don't you think?
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
The long jump, sure. We broke into 4 teams, and each one of them had a name.
I think this was the Rice Krispie team, if I'm not mistaken.
How do you know it's not the day the Beatles came to Lynnwood?
That's a possibility. We did a lot of strange things to open the color wars. It was a time we had the helicopter come into
oh
camp.
yeah.
Yeah, it was always exciting to see who you would meet on your team that you didn't know before.
That's one of the Mallet boys.
Margie Klein back there. Sally Agerman.
Back at the rifle range and have good shots of everybody. Just can't seem to put any names on these kids right now.
Remember those mattresses you had to lay down on? And
Yeah, they were kind of gamey, but everybody did it anyway. And a Friday night, off to Friday
All
night.
in whites.
Yep, that was the tradition at Lynnwood. Everybody is heading perhaps off
Right.
to services or just getting ready to go to dinner there.
it could have been a visitor's day as well.
You're
Because
right,
we
you're
always
right.
wore white on
Right,
visitor's
yes,
day.
but-
Everyone always looked the same. And I see some people wearing their Camp Lynnwood t-shirts.
Oh, they're certainly getting all of them in.
Yeah, this was a full picture of all cabin groups. There's-
Could have been picture day.
That's right, we did have it. In fact, you know what? It probably was. Now that you mention that, Janice. Big photography session that day. Sometimes I'm sitting here and feeling quite a loss, not knowing how to put names onto the former campers, but
But there they
But they
are.
know who they are.
That's right.
I know some of the folks that are watching this are saying, gee, why didn't they identify everybody? Oh, how I wish you people that were watching this now could be sitting here trying too. I thought this would be a piece of cake, identifying everybody. Not so.
Well, here we go.
Yeah.
There's Eddie Axelrad, John Shapiro and Jeff Feldman, Scott Gross. Is that Herb Samber? Steve Epstein?
Steve Epstein.
A lot of these people tended to come back year after year, so they're a little easier to identify, I guess. That looked like a ladder tournament in the
Now here
back.
come
Did you
the
see
ladies.
that?
Yeah, it was. Now we're going to look at the girls' cabins groups come zipping by. Counselors, we can't put a
There's
name
Franny Pasikoff.
and a face. Tough combination to get together.
These were the older girls.
And Arlene Bernstein in there. Now back to
There's
the younger
Susie
ones.
Lippa.
We've hit an impasse again. Sorry, folks, but we're trying our best.
It'll be fun to watch these from your home and, you know, identify these.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that have the tapes will be able to identify.
Right, they can stop them and study
Certainly,
them.
better than we can. Certainly some interesting eyeglass creations in
Oh
those
yeah,
days.
they were
They
in
would
vogue.
Definitely go over big
Yeah.
today, I'm sure.
And the hairdos. I remember when we used to wrap our hair in pop cans.
Oh, gee.
Go John. Now,
Must be the Beatles.
oh,
John Lennon.
that's right. Beatle Day at Lynnwood.
Look at them. Oh, there's,
This was one of the great psych-up events in Camp Lynnwood history.
there's George.
That's right. There's
Marvin.
Dash.
Did you see Marvin?
Here he's right to your left and up. They took it away. There were
Which team could yell the loudest?
games and cheers and competition
And sore throats.
And
sore
song
throats.
fest.
Song fests at the end. and-
There's Paul.
A lot of enthusiasm in this group.
The big question is, which team won this color war?
Did we know?
Well, I'm sure some of the folks out there that are watching it will know, but I sure didn't because I went through an awful lot of color wars.
Ringo.
I thought the Rice Krispies won this color war. That was one of our cereal day color wars. In fact, that would be interesting to think of how many themes that we had.
Oh, no, this is nice and
You know, this was everybody's thrill in riding,
Look
to
at
be able to
this,
go out on the A and B trail. The trail rides were a lot of fun, big fun.
And how about the horse overnights? Those were very special. You could ride your horse
Oh,
and
yes.
sleep out with the stars and then come back after breakfast. Can you think of any horses' names, Bob? Come on.
Oh my goodness,
there was
of course.
one, Katie, I remember.
Katie, and then there were
Mousy, Sinbad, Esquire.
two of the older ones that the older folks remember were Sparky and Fred.
How about General Ike? He was around for a long
he was
time,
an ancient one too. Fred was blind, which made him relatively safe. Sparky had two gaits, slow and slower, much like Sam Moll's pitching.
And certain activities
Are they
repeated
still
every
making
year.
those shams?
Oh yeah, we're still making them.
Another year and another sham battle.
I think this group had some problems. We had them make them all summer. That was their
There's somebody
activity.
wearing a Camp Lynnwood hat.
Some of you may still have some of that memorabilia, the hats and the jackets and
The patches.
the patches.
The medals.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, quite a few people wore things up to the day that we spent at Camp Lynnwood several years back. Must have had some cool weather at that time, even though the sun's out. A lot of kids coming in with jackets, and these kids might have been coming in from an
They
overnight.
came from something.
Well, I remember that in the mornings, Artie would get on the PA and
And
tell you to
what
wear a light
right.
sweater and jacket if it was
Right.
chilly out.
Oh yes, many times, many times. Oh, these kids are coming back from a sham battle.
Oh, yes, they're covered in
Flour.
And the
flour.
flour. It was either clean them up or bake them, one or the other.
I remember that we had the North and the South did the,
This was a film, I think, in 1970 that was made.
right.
Look at that.
Is this the American Revolution?
Now it's in slow motion, and we can pick out every name. Just listen to us go.
Don't challenge us.
It's not working even in slow motion.
I think we just passed up Jimmy Broad. These are the little boys. That looks like a Kosis.
Neil
Kosis?
Kosis.
Aren't they cute?
Are you picking up all these names, folks? Because Janice and Bob and Charlotte are not.
We're just
Stevie
observing.
Pearlstein just
Yes,
passed by, and
all
there's
right.
Stu Hoffman.
Uji.
Uji, right.
Uji. Stuart Hoffman.
Now, where's
Wasn't this Mallet? No.
Kenny Mallett?
Maybe.
Kenny and Marty were the campers.
And Herbie.
Well, Herbie was a cousin or something. That looked like Rico.
There's Glenn Nathan. Stevie Epstein. As an older counselor
as
now.
a counselor then.
That's what we all did. We worked our way up from camper to
There's
counselors.
Stevie Rocky Layton.
Right.
Now living in St. Louis as an
Aren't they
attorney.
There's Sandy
darling?
Spatz.
Yep.
Aren't they darling?
These are the little girls. These were probably chicks. Shelley Katz. Jody Hoffman.
Aren't they dear?
Jody Meltzer, I guess.
Well,
then.
that's what I was going to say.
Right. That's Robin Kramer.
Well, folks, when you get these, you all have your VCRs and you all have the stop and still frame and slow motion. And we can all take our
study them,
time
right.
and study and come up with names. We have run through a lot of former camp people here in these pictures.
And all these people are all grown up now.
Yeah, they do tend to
And
do that.
romances at camp.
But it's remarkable when you see so many different faces that all these people went through Camp Lynnwood at some time or another. Many for several years, some for one season.
Mainly repeats.
Yeah, for the most part. There were never that many new kids that came to camp.
There's Kathy.
Kathy.
Kathy Friedman.
Very good.
And Debbie Tanzer. This looks like a group that I was a counselor of. I
Then
think.
we should see you around.
Maybe.
Although I
Terry Hoffman.
This is an excellent review.
Of everyone in camp.
Right.
It's a good review. I don't really recall when we did this or...
Marcy Pearlstein. Kathy Bushkoff.
See,
They're coming, they're
The older
coming.
girls like to get through it fast.
But they needed to take their time. Merle Monsigne,
That's a name
out of the past.
that definitely fits that face.
And there's Linda Fidel, Jody Robin.
Well, I'll tell you, they got the right person when they got Janice. David and Dickie.
There they, and
There's the Hulk again.
what were the sideburns?
Who knows?
That was the in thing too.
It might have been.
The Camp Lynnwood bus, we used to take all of our trips to.
Didn't go fast, but it got there. If it didn't fall over.
This is like one of those endless. They're all coming out of one bus. All this.
The bus
Can you
wasn't
believe
that
that
big,
bus, that bus could hold this many people? We really packed them in. It's amazing. Think about this, folks. Absolutely incredible.
Still they come.
Well, over 60 or so. And look, they're still waiting to get off. They're on the bus waiting their turn just to get off. This was a fantastic, and it only looked like about a 12-passenger, too. We got to get a few more of them off. We had to rewind the film.
Took a lot of trips in that bus.
Oh yeah. Do
you remember some of the places that we went?
Oh.
To the Malgron Medical Center.
Oh, that was a thriller.
How about the Dairy Queen?
Dairy Queen? Richards, you mean? The carousel?
Well, I think it didn't change names eventually, at least 3 or 4 times.
Changed to the carousel from Richards.
Richards was the original.
Delaney's Caves, and which changed to Laurel Caverns. And what was the name of the bakery? Everyone
Ooh, good question.
went on a bakery tour
That's
at
right.
Camp Lynnwood.
Good question.
Or
It was
the
in
glass
Morgantown.
factory.
The Cowan, wasn't it?
Cowan's Bakery.
Right.
Very,
And we also
very
went
good.
to a milk company.
Milk. Think, everybody
Come on,
that's
Bob.
watching. What's
And glass. Remember the
glass factory trip?
factory?
The milk company. What was the milk company?
I don't know, but we always got those great bottle tops for table football from them. Chico's
Whoa!
Dairy!
Our
Right.
director just figured it out. Wow, where did you get that?
He probably.
And that came
at
from Michael
Chico's,
Fields up in the directing booth. And we're still emptying this bus.
There's no
Chico's
end.
Dairy.
Right.
And how about Falling Water?
Where?
Falling Water.
That's a different direction altogether.
Falling Water is the Frank Lloyd Wright thing. Didn't-
Right.
We never
Yeah,
went
no.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
That-
went there the first time with Camp Lynnwood.
Possibly.
Oh, I
I know they don't really like kids groups to come anymore, but
Well, Pam Spatz finally got off the bus. She was sitting there for a long time. And these are the big girls now.
this is really hard
There
to
I
believe.
am.
Oh, I told Marvin chasing her.
And Sabu?
Still chasing her. Gosh, it
They're
finally emptied out.
Empty.
So now somebody has joined our group here as we finish perusing this film. I'm not 100% sure who it is. It's either Sam Moll or it's Dawn Moll. It's
That's
a
right.
greatly guarded secret through the history of Lynnwood.
Sam of Moll.
Sam, so
That's
we'll turn
right.
this little thing over to
I'd come in
Sam.
one door, they'd say, "Hi, Sam." I run around the building and come in and say, "Hi, Don," and all the kids thought I was twins.
Nobody was ever sure.
And I had some wonderful.
You weren't, Sam.
Well, I was. I did 2 jobs. One of my best memories of camp, although the camp was in West Virginia, you never saw a snake at our camp, although the one you saw in that cage came from Cooper's Rock. And I'll tell you why. Every year before camp started, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, I'd visit camp and the place was just loaded with snakes. And I called Henry Campbell, our wonderful supervisor.
We remember him well.
Yeah, that's right. And I'd say, "Henry, what are we going to do? The kids will go home, the parents will take their kids out of camp." He says, "Don't worry." He had about 15 or 20 pigs up in the barn that he raised. And he said, "You watch this." He let them loose on camp, and those pigs just sucked up those snakes like spaghetti. And in about 5 hours, there wasn't a snake at camp. And this happened every year. That's how we got rid of the snakes at Camp Lynnwood. And St. Patrick probably supervised it.
That's a great
Sam,
story.
That is a great story. I'm not sure I'm buying that completely.
That's true.
I spent 25, 30 years at camp. I don't even remember that story.
No,
I
because
remember that snake, though.
Oh, the one snake? Well, that came.
Where beauty is enchantment, where we have learned what camp meant from you. ships landing anew. From Inspiration Point, there is the view of hills so beautiful and sky so blue, so blue. Lynnwood, where memories last forever, and we know as long as campfires burn, our thoughts to you.